Hi, my name is Vena. I'm originally from Rugby, but I live in Nadi. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Bula, I'm John from Cornabuanta. I love listening to Today FM. It rocks.
Bula, I'm Teopola.
Bula, I'm Matanisi.
We love listening to Today FM because it rocks in bar.
Bula, my name is Tisa. I love listening to Today FM.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Tonight, tragedy in Labasa as search continues for missing children and father. Mother and daughter perish in Nadi house fire. An Employees Federation opens up about minimum wage rate.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
A family of Mbatini Kama outside Labasa is devastated after losing one member to drowning while the search for three others continue. As Eleanor Tarangaivu reports, this sad chain of events has shocked those in and around Labasa town as the family members search for answers.
A distraught mother and grandmother looking for answers, searching for her loved ones who are believed to have drowned in the Labasa River last night.
We don't know where are they and what condition they must be in. I called at night and I thought he must be somewhere and will be back. I waited and he didn't come and never answered his phone. I thought maybe he went to another area and would be back.
Shahid Abi's son, 37-year-old Muhammad Qayyum, is believed to have taken his four children, 10-year-old Muhammad Azhar, 6-year-old Muhammad Ayan, 4-year-old Muhammad Arman, and 1.5-year-old Ahana Qayyum into his boat, took them up the Labasa River and pushed them into the water.
I don't know what to do, who to look after now. I really don't know how and what condition they must be in.
According to the 52-year-old grandmother, she didn't see anything bothering his son when he came home yesterday afternoon to collect his children. There are, however, allegations that the dispute between Qayyum and his wife played a major part in what transpired here at the Labasa River yesterday afternoon.
If he had any issues, he could have spoken to me and asked for forgiveness. What has my son done today? I don't know what was wrong, as there was no problems.
10-year-old Azhar managed to swim back into the boat and drove it to the landing. A patron at the Labasa Farmers Club alerted the staff of a boat in the river being driven carelessly, and a customer at the club ran out to check on the boat.
The boy was yelling out for his safety, and I went to save him from this club to help him. And I asked him, "Son, what's wrong? You are okay? You are injured?" "No, I'm not injured. Only my father and my two sisters are already in the water." "Why?" "My father pushed them in the water."
This morning, the body of 6-year-old Ayan was found floating beside Nadula village, just outside of Labasa town. It was found by a villager who then alerted the police search party. The body was retrieved at around 9 a.m. and is now at the Labasa hospital mortuary. The search now continues for 4-year-old Arman, his sister Ahana, and their father. FBC News understands their mother is being brought into protective custody by police. Eleanor Tarangaivu, FBC News.
And the bad news kept on coming yesterday as a family in Solovi, Nadi is tonight mourning the deaths of a mother and a daughter who perished in a house fire yesterday. This incident also involved a minor, 9-year-old Ashmita Kumar, and her mother Maureen Devi, believed to be in her 30s. Both were apparently in the house when the fire began. Ellen Stolz tells us more.
2 body bags were retrieved from the ashes last night. The family too distraught to speak.
I suddenly had the scream just from the victim house, just the firehouse. We had that news. The screaming of my aunt. By the time the other fire attendant came, the fire had actually rapidly gone big. So, but they managed to save the other house.
Arriving at the home after receiving an emergency call, the National Fire Authority, in a statement, says the home was already fully engulfed. This morning, the husband of the deceased was in no state to speak. However, his brother, Sanjesh Kumar, who lived with the family, told FBC News he did not know anyone was inside the burning house.
Just a few weeks they had a little bit problem. We never thought this can come this big. Just like a family.
While family members have spoken about some trouble between the couple, there is no clear indication this is linked to the fire. Police spokesperson Anna Naisoro says a post-mortem will be conducted on the two women to ascertain the cause of death. While there are many rumors and stories as to what actually happened here yesterday afternoon, police and National Fire Authority officers are yet to complete their investigation to rule out arson. Ellen Stalls, FBC News.
There is a huge market for illicit drugs in the Pacific region. Authorities say organised crime groups are becoming increasingly attracted to tobacco smuggling, and the Pacific is becoming an easy target. Kelly Vavala reports.
9% of the cigarettes being smoked in the region are illegal, and the cigarettes are smuggled into the country and sold in domestic markets.
Gin is also now being used to transship those illegal cigarettes coming into the region. So both it's a source from outside of the region, but now there's a general trend of even within the region there is some illegal trade happening already. And only in the retail domestic market that we often find that there had been cigarettes being brought in illegally.
Pi News says most of the illegal tobacco products are coming in from Asia. Last year, more than $300,000 worth of counterfeit cigarettes were smuggled into the country and seized by the Ministry of Health. Now the matter is before the court.
Most of the illicit tobacco that is coming in are mostly reported by our border officers right at the border, and it's a big challenge for us.
Today, the Oceania Customs Organization and the WHO signed a memorandum of understanding to share information and ideas relevant to preventing and eliminating the illicit tobacco trade. Illicit tobacco trade does not only drain the budgets of our governments and feed into organized crime, but it also severely undermines the efforts to protect public health. Kelly Vavala, FBC News.
Businesses will soon be charged for treating of their liquid waste due to a trade waste policy now in effect. The Water Authority of Fiji says while the fees and penalties are being worked out, a 6-month amnesty has been rolled out to ensure businesses are aware of the new waste management policy. Maggie Boyle reports.
Walking the talk on better environmental practices, the Water Authority of Fiji today revealing more details about the trade waste policy.
We will also give 6 months amnesty to customers to regularize their pre-treatment, to make sure their processes are in place, and that we will then issue permits, provisional permits and then a full permit to allow them to discharge into our systems.
Last week, the Minister for Local Government, Parvin Kumar, told Parliament that the policy was confirmed in February.
All liquid trade waste customers are required to install pre-treatment facilities to initiate waste management at source.
FBC News approached some businesses in downtown Suva to ask if they were aware of the policy. Many of them said they were not and declined to speak to us on camera.
And this is an example of animal blood being dumped in Kinoya. So these are the type of trade waste that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. And so this trade waste policy sets a framework or a standard on how organizations should comply.
With the trade waste policy now endorsed by government, businesses will be under the spotlight following WAF's directives. Ravai says while the details are still being worked out, they've been offered a 6-month amnesty period to ensure their waste management procedures are up to date. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
The National Federation Party is alarmed by a statement made by Sitiveni Rambuka to FBC News yesterday, saying the SEDELPA leader's utterances are creating confusion amongst NFP members and supporters. Rambuka, in a moment of contradiction, told FBC News in an exclusive interview yesterday that he is making arrangements with the NFP and Labour parties to work on strategies on how to attract Indo-Fijian votes for NFP and Labour Indo-Fijian candidates, despite SEDELPA fielding Indo-Fijian candidates itself. However, this is very likely to split the Indo-Fijian votes that the three parties may receive.
Although we have all spoken out against racism, the fact and the truth is that people still vote on race lines in Fiji, and it'd be easier for an Indo-Fijian voter to vote for an Indo-Fijian candidate. So we would like to have those faces shown to the voters. We will have some it's okay faces and also Indo-Fijian faces, and they can vote the face they like within the party or within the party coalition.
NFP leader Biman Prasad lashed out at Rambuka today, saying there wasn't, isn't and there won't be any coalition with any political party for next year's general elections.
Has already decided that the NFP will fight the election on its own, as we did in 2014, and that decision was endorsed by the NFP's annual general meeting. So that is the position currently of the National Federation Party with respect to elections or coalitions, which people talk about these days.
Upset NFP leader says this decision will not be ever changed. Labour leader Mahendra Chaudhry could not be reached for comment. Still to come, Employers Federation talks about minimum wage increase and stakeholders meet to find solutions for NCDs.
हम लोगों में रहते हैं और मिर्ची एफएम सबसे बेस्ट स्टेशन है।
हमारा नाम मेसी है, हम गोल्डन तापुआ में रहता है और मिर्ची इज हॉट इन तापुआ।
Hi, we Bajels. We love Mirchi FM because it's hot.
निवेश तवरा में रहता हूँ, सुनता है यहाँ मिर्ची एफएम is very hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
The Fiji Commerce and Employers Federation expects an increase in the minimum wage rate before the next general elections. The CEO says that before any increase takes place, there should be considerations in a few areas. Ana Ravulo tells us more.
The increase in the minimum wage rate is a topic widely discussed by businesses and employers. The CEO of FCEF says that this cannot happen in the flick of a finger, as there are many things to look at.
You need to take into account, first of all, the inflation rate over the last few years. You need to also take into account productivity indices for Fiji or for the various industries, if we have any. And these need to be factored into any calculation when coming up with a minimum wage.
The president of the FCEF says a review is needed, but wishes it had been earlier.
What is the increase and where should the increase be? To what level should the increase be? The other thing that we also have been talking about is that why does this come all of a sudden after 5 years, after 4 years? Can't we have a plan?
The current minimum wage rate is $2.32, and the FCEF accepts that it is government's responsibility to review this periodically to afford workers their socio-economic rights. Ana Ravulo, FBC News.
Finding ways to combat non-communicable diseases has become a much talked about topic, but experts believe finding solutions will be futile unless the root cause of the problem is identified. Tough taxation measures on junk food and drinks have been implemented, but are they really helping? Ritika Pratap tells us more.
These speakers yesterday debated on the topic, is it time for Fiji to toughen rules on junk food and drink to tackle diabetes and heart disease?
The simple goal of toughening the rules on junk foods could be more complicated than we think. Second, assuming we choose to take on the challenge, what can we actually do? Banning junk foods overnight is clearly unrealistic.
Misconception today is that sugary beverages are responsible for diabetes and poor health. Just 5% of our total energy intake in Fiji comes from sugar and sweets.
So will stricter regulations help reduce obesity and risk of heart diseases?
It is frequently suggested that similar measures to impose additional taxes on junk food would help to change dietary habits. But such measures could also be seen as unfair or inequitable if they focus solely on products associated with certain high-profile global brands. There are plenty of local produced foods which are equally undesirable from a dietary point of view.
A few places where a soft drinks tax has been introduced has seen a reduction in soft drinks consumed, yet obesity rates continue to climb.
WHO has also recommended that taxation-based approaches be considered for ensuring that healthier food items are more affordable and less healthy items are less affordable.
Fiji has taken steps to create awareness on the effects of NCDs, but proper monitoring is needed to make it successful.
Budget reallocation of this program continues to be increased. There is progress in terms of building commitment, but lack of monitoring of strategies and implementation of planned activities to tackle NCDs are still issues of concern.
There are 6,000 health-related deaths annually, of which 80% is due to non-communicable disease. Obesity and heart disease are the common cause of deaths. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
The defence in the Fiji Times case informed the Suva High Court today they want to make representations that the amended information is defective. The High Court has given time to both the State and Defence Counsel to file their written submissions. It is alleged that Josiah Wangambatha, Fred Wesley, Hank Arts and the Fiji Times Limited made or caused to be published a seditious statement in the Nailalakai newspaper. Bail has been extended to all accused persons. The matter will be recalled on 9th May. Colonel Onisivoro Dhovunisanga now holds the position of the Land Force Commander for the Fiji Military Forces, while Captain Humphrey Tawake is the new Navy Commander. Commander RFMF Brigadier General William Inaupoto confirmed this to FBC News. He also announced that Colonel Chone Kaloni-Wai is the new Chief of Staff of the RFMF, replacing Colonel Litea Seruratu, who is now their Director of Force Development and Commander of Training School.
We've had a reshuffle within the high level of command within the force. This is to allow people to attend the necessary training that they need to do.
7 of the Bushmaster protected mobility vehicles purchased for the Fiji military forces have been delivered to the Middle East from Australia. According to Fiji Military Forces Commander Brigadier General William Inaupoto, the vehicles were taken from Lebanon to the Golan Heights today. Savaira Tambua has more.
The lessons learned in the Golan Heights in 2014 prompted the FMF to purchase the Bushmasters to support the Fijian troops of the United Nations Disengagement Observer Force in the Golan Heights.
They survive IEDs, improvised explosive devices. They had used these vehicles in Afghanistan, and it has been a very credible vehicle for those. So we are very happy that now our soldiers will be covered.
24 officers have undergone Bushmaster training, and Warrant Officer Class 1 Viren Singh is one of them.
It's very powerful, and it's also very safe in mission areas where the heavy bomb blast that can sustain that vehicle, even in off-roads.
3 Bushmaster protected mobility vehicles will be based in Fiji for upskilling of our military officers who will be trained at Black Rock in Nadi. According to Nopoto, they will be also used for some other purposes.
We will be using them during disaster emergency phases. They're good vehicles to respond in times of natural disasters, and we will be learning ways where we can use them effectively during those times.
According to Warrant Officer Class 1 Singh, the 3 Bushmasters APC allocated for our local offices are expected to arrive at the end of next month. Sabira Tambua, FBC News.
Later on in sports, Jamie will tell us more about the future of the Maritime Zone Athletics competition. But next up, Rachel is here with the latest in business.
Thanks, Jackie. Coming up in business tonight, RBF happy with Fiji's economy growth. And in Growing Fiji, new school classroom brings delight. Stay with us.
I'm from Nathan. Samantha, and I love listening to Today FM.
My name is Stanley Godler, and I'm from Australia, but I'm part Fijian from Rugby, and I love listening to Today FM Rocks.
For the best music and less talk, we tune into Today FM in Nasilai Village. Today FM rocks. My name is Inai Ali and I'm from Ba, and I love the big breakfast on Today FM. I just love it and hope you love it too.
My name is Jay from Labasa. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Naushin and I'm from Sambeto, and I love Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In business tonight, Reserve Bank of Fiji Governor Barry Whiteside says despite the negative impacts from natural disasters in the beginning of last year, the economy stayed on track, although at a projected slower pace of 2%. The outcome has been attributed to strong macroeconomic fundamentals prior to 2016, which helped the country to withstand the effects of tropical cyclones. Whiteside says foreign reserves remained comfortable at the end of July 2016, while inflation trended higher than expected due to the supply shortages. He says foreign reserves are projected to remain stable, while current high inflation levels is expected to moderate as supply of agricultural items normalize. The governor says Fiji's financial sector remains intact as indicated by adequate earnings, capital and liquidity positions and assets quality for banks, companies and credit institutes. The RBF's January to July 2016 report was tabled in Parliament last week. Now with a look at major changes expected to influence world markets in the next few days, here's Elizabeth from HFC Bank.
Thanks, Rachel. Glancing at our economic calendar for this week, later on tonight, the United States will release its consumer confidence level for the month, and it's expected to decrease to 113.8 from 114.8. The low level predicted in a Reuters poll may drive an economic downturn. Tomorrow, UK Prime Minister Theresa May triggers Article 50 of the Lisbon Treaty. That's the formal process to leave the European Union. Not only will the United Kingdom leave the institutions of the EU, it will also depart from the single market and customs union. Then on Friday, the United States will release its annualized gross domestic product for the last quarter, another influence on their current market situation. So that's what's in store on the global economic scene this week. Rachel.
Thanks for the update, Elizabeth. On to today's exchange rates. The Chinese yuan and the American dollar saw a contrast again, with the yuan weakening against our dollar to close at 3.25, while the US dollar strengthened to close at 47 cents. Closer to home, the Australian dollar strengthened to close at 61 cents. New Zealand weakened to close at 66. Meanwhile, the PNG Kina went up to close at 131. Onto the commodities market, a drop across the market. Oil dropped to close at $47.61 a barrel, while gold closed at $1,257 an ounce, and silver closed at $18.06 an ounce. In Growing Fiji tonight, a new classroom block at Vunumono Islamia School in Nassori will provide better learning facilities for more than 300 students. Education Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy says every student and school is important to the government and they will need to attend to their needs. He says the 4 new classrooms complemented the government's efforts to ensuring all Fijian children have access to quality educational facilities. The 4 new classrooms, built at a cost of $111,000, will serve for about 150 students from Year 1 to Year 3 and a kindergarten. The school has an enrollment roll of 299 students. And that's it from business. Now to sports. Here's Jamie with the latest.
Thanks, Rachel, and good evening. In sports tonight, Maritime Athletic Zone faces uncertain future. And FNRL hopes big names will commit to Fiji's cause. Details coming up.
Radio Fiji One.
Bulan Erango Pina, Nadi, Autotalitaka na Barongo and Radio Fiji One,
na programa ni mas masu na mataklailai.
Oya ochone kurina bila mai bunangoro na makete hinga toka kwe kido kaletakini na baroro na Radio Fiji 1 kenya na domoi viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 na domoi viti na bonga ni BNN.
The Fiji Secondary Schools Athletics Association is finding it difficult to get numbers for this year's maritime zone. So far, only 2 schools have confirmed their participation for the event, scheduled for the 13th of next month. Vasnil Prasad has more.
1,000 meters, the young kids.
The maritime zone, which was one of the more interesting zones, is losing its touch. Once having more than 6 schools to compete, the school is facing a tough task to rake in numbers.
That is Ngau Secondary and Ratu Finau from Lakemba in Laos.
One reason is the island schools are now joining bigger zones.
At the western schools, Yasawa has already joined Lautoka zone, which means that maybe the schools are also opting out from maritime zone and getting into bigger zone.
If it remains this way in the future, the maritime zone could be removed from the athletics calendar.
For example, Koro and other schools are not probably turning up is maybe because they're still recovering maybe.
Meanwhile, with less than a month remaining, fans are already looking forward to the Fiji finals.
I'm looking forward for the Coca-Cola games and I'm cheering for RKS. I look forward to RKS when I win the Coca-Cola games.
Sinu secondary school this year. I just support for the Sinu for the old boys and the girls. I like it for what's the game for the Coca-Cola this year.
Yes, I am looking forward to the Coca-Cola games. Probably the school I'm looking out for is Natambua and ECS.
The games will be held from 20th to the 22nd of next month at the ANZ Stadium in Suva. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
With the International Rugby League Federation requiring World Cup squads to be confirmed only 3 weeks before the tournament, the Fiji National Rugby League has its fingers crossed that its overseas-based players will remain faithful to the Fiji Mbati. There are a number of top players eligible to play for the Mbati and the Kangaroos, but FNRL will have to wait for these players to confirm their allegiance. Vasnil Prasad reports.
Although he's a bit slow, but he's made...
Fiji National Rugby League is hopeful it will be able to secure all its top-class players from abroad for the World Cup. It will be a challenge to FNRL to keep its most wanted players together and avoid them switching countries.
The cut-off date that the Rugby World Cup Committee has set on players to actually confirm whether they are playing Tier 1 nations or their own nation's team for the World Cup. So that is a bit of a challenge for us.
Fiji Mbati is depending on players like Jared Hayne, John Sutton and Suliasi Vunivalu to play for them. But if they do turn down the white jumper, the officials have other options to look at.
Having them to confirm their availability, it's quite difficult and challenging to do that. It's quite tricky as well. So that's why we have come up with that matrix.
60 local players have also been roped into the World Cup preliminary squad.
You can see we have 7 zones in the country, so we just pick the best player from the zones.
40 overseas-based players are expected to be named later next month. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
Fiji's Olympian boxer Winston Hill has now set his sights on the Oceania Championships to be held in Australia. Hill, undefeated since the Olympic Games in Rio, is also looking forward to qualifying for the Commonwealth Games. He is expecting more fights before the Oceania Champs in June, which will bring him one step closer to the Commonwealth Games on the Gold Coast next year.
But in between, there's always competitions weekly in Australia. We're looking to slide into one of those and just to get a feel of what the competition is out there. We'll see how things go, but we'll definitely stay active in the local tournaments.
Now to our play of the day, 34-year-old Sevens veteran Nasoni Roko showed he still has powerful legs when he sprinted down the wing to score the final try for Tambandamu in its Mara Sevens Cup win over Army.
Roko, can he finish this off in the corner and win it for Tambandamu? Nasoni Roko, and Nasoni Roko will go into the corner. 34-year-old from Serea Velajenaita Siri, Nasoni Roko. He has beaten Alosio Nandova.
That's it from sports. Angie joins you later on with weather, and in the world of the weird and the wonderful, a rare occurrence with white tiger giving birth to quadruplets in Poland. Find out more after the break.
Warong na radio Fiji One. Bulan na rango pina may koradiri Nadi. Auto talitaka na warong na radio Fiji One. Na programa ni mas masu na mataklaylay.
Oya ochone kurinambila mai bunangoru na makete hinga toka kwe kido talitakini na warong na radio Fiji One gene na domo ibiti.
Na radio Fiji One na domo ibiti na bonga ni BNN.
One day you may be carrying your own drone everywhere you go. A drone has been developed to take selfies that is so thin it can be put in your pants pocket. And we join Angie now with the very latest in weather.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. It was another great day, though we didn't see much sunshine, but conditions stayed dry as white, fluffy clouds drifted across the semi-clear skies. My only wish was to lay somewhere out on the beach and enjoy the cool sea breeze, but dreams are absolutely free. Let's check out what it was like in the west. It was cloudy but hot, and the hottest one out of all was Ba, hitting 32 degrees. Showers are likely for tonight. Eastwards from Pekhabar to Suva, sunshine was around for a short period before cloudiness took over. And up in Banwa Levu, partly sunny skies covered much of the north with few showers in store for later tonight. At sea, easterly winds 15 to 20 knots with moderate to rough seas. And for those that have sea plans, the next low tide tomorrow is at 1:03 with a high tide at 7:13. Sunrise is purely beautiful, and if you wish to catch it, you can do so at 6:08. For tomorrow, early morning showers are expected. However, the day will be fine apart from few light showers in the north. Tomorrow's temps, centers like Nadi, Lautoka and Labasa will be battling with heat with highs of 30. And looking further on to Thursday, it will be a clear day for the easterners, but it looks like the northerners will be welcoming rain. And that, Jackie, is a cloudy FPC weather for tonight.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. On Fiji Pulse today, we asked, are online scams partially to be blamed on the public who use these?
Problem like whatever is coming nowadays, we should have self-control. We have to control ourselves from whatever is happening nowadays. So.
Yeah, they are, because people should be more careful about the strangers they come across on social media.
I believe that the individual, before they take this crucial step, they should see all the risks.
The public is definitely to blame because they're the ones who allow themselves to be fooled by the people online.
In the world of the weird and the wonderful, unusual white tiger quadruplets have been born in a zoo in central Poland. This is something new for the country and region.
4 white tigers were born in the private safari zoo at Boso, near Lodz, on the first day of spring last week. Triple births have already occurred in Boso Zoo, but never before the white tigers have given birth to so many cubs here and in Europe. The mum Safaran and the 5-day-old cubes are doing well. White tigers are extremely rare and owe their appearance to the recessive genes. According to the owners, the zoo currently holds 20% of the world population of white tigers and 15% of the population of white lions. The zoo safari was founded in 2008, and 500 animals representing 90 exotic species from all around the world live here on an area of 26 hectares. This zoo specializes in breeding of white animals rarely found in nature among other tigers and lions.
Recapping the main stories, tragedy in Labasa as search continues for missing children and father. Mother and daughter perish in Nadi house fire. And Employees Federation opens up about minimum wage rate. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question this week, we are asking, Should a train system be put in place to curb peak hour traffic? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go on to our shot of the day, a shot of cloudness and darkness surrounding the highway between Ba and Lautoka, shot by MS Billy Moria. Send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News, or you can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. Until next time, from the team and I, good night.
कमल रोशनी है, हम लोगों में रहते हैं और मिर्ची एफएम सबसे बेस्ट स्टेशन है।
हमारा नाम मेसी है, हम गोल्ड टाउन तापुआ में रहता है और मिर्ची इज हॉट इन तापुआ।
Hi, we Bagels. We love Mirchi FM because it's hot.
निवेश तवरा में रहता हूँ, सुनता है यहाँ मिर्ची एफएम is very hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.